Good morning, good morning, good morning, you lovely lot. It is 7:45 and it is Wednesday morning and I'm about to go to work. I had quite a late night last night. I'll tell you later on in the vlog about the realisation I had as I was driving back here from work last night. Because it's quite insightful, I think, and it's probably something a lot of mums in particular I think will relate to. So I will tell you about that later on in this vlog, but part of it was being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, which I haven't been able to do all my life. And I just suddenly started listening to music because there was nobody else in the house because I'm house sitting, and I started singing very loudly, very badly. Thankfully, there's no neighbours directly next to us, as in we're not conjoined to any houses. We are, separated. There's no, joint walls. And this went on until about 1 o'clock in the morning. So I feel great for it, though. Anyway, yes, later on in this vlog, I will read you the passage I wrote down because I just felt it was important to write it down, as it was a big realisation in my personal development, growth, whatever you want to. It struck me suddenly very woomph. But I haven't got time to tell you about it now because I need to go to work, so I'm going to leave and I will see you when I get to the farm. It's nearly 11 o'clock and it's incredibly warm. I have hoovered, I've tied up out in the dog room a little bit, getting through the laundry. I have attached myself a portable cooler offer. They are perfectly designed to slide between the breasts like that. Keeps you cool, and then as it melts you can drink it. I've got laundry to fold, and I know it's really hot, but I'm also having a cup of tea because I live off tea and water. I'll probably have a big cold glass of water as well. I think we're at about 26 degrees, which might not be hot for some of you. But, when we go from like 10 degrees and then 2 days later, 26 degrees, it's really hard for your body to find any kind of equilibrium. I've thrown some meat ice cubes out. Chicken ice cubes, they are, look. Archie's found another one. No, that's poo, Link, don't eat that. I just threw them out there just so they've got something that will cool them off a little bit. A little icy treat. You've had one, haven't you? Oh, there, Link's found one. If you bite, you start there with it. If he bites it in half, then Timmy might get a piece. That's how they did it last time. One of them bit it and then the other one got a bit. You're going to break it in half. Work together. They are. Oh, Waitrose, you do have rather cheeky tomatoes. Look at that pert little body. Oh, Lou, you're so tolerant. Cooper. Cooper. That's it, Sully. Cooper. Okay, it's coming up 9 o'clock at night and it's been hot all day, about 26 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be 30 degrees. So we're going to go out. I haven't actually had any dinner yet. I've had a lot of salad and bits like that, and not today I haven't. I've not really eaten very much today. I had some sushi earlier on and I had a sausage, but sushi was like lunchtime. So I'm actually quite peckish, and I had a bag of crisps. So I might just treat myself to some junk food like chips or something. But we're going to walk into town because it's now, I think, 22 degrees, something like that. Tomorrow, like I said, it's going to be 30. So these guys are not going to get a walk probably until really late in the evening again. So I'm going to take them out now and then have another shower. This will be my second shower of the day. Cool myself off, and then I've got a new book to read. And I need to read that thing to you, don't I, that I still haven't told you about, that I wrote, my realisation, yesterday. When I come back from the walk, I'll do that. I was going to get some chicken kebab meat, chips and garlic mayo, but the only one that does it is closing. So I've got a fish and chips for £7, which actually I thought was a pretty good price. Well, it's probably not a full portion of chips there. And most of them are incredibly crunchy because they were just about to close. So, might be why it was only £7. But I do like crispy bits of chips, and they actually don't affect my stomach in quite the same way, having crispy ones. Not the most flattering of angles, but anyway, I'm going to read you what I wrote. This was my sort of revelation as I was driving into town. Well, driving back from work yesterday. By the way, that food was not great. Not great. It wasn't the usual chip shop that we would go to. Anyway, it occurred to me today that one of the reasons I enjoy these house sit jobs is the ability to answer to no one. I used to answer to my parents. I had a short period of time in the late 90s and early 2000s where I was relatively free. And by 2001, I was with Lee. And by 2002, I was a mother. Always having to think about the care and needs of my children, and the same for the children in my care, and considering Lee in my decisions. I've never really been free in my life. And that is quite a realisation to recognise. These house sits allow me to manage my time as I wish, to not need to contact anyone else to say I will be late and why I will be late. The ability to just do things on a whim. That has been absent from my whole life. Tonight, as I drove to a Pokemon raid in town on a whim, I realised I had no need to tell anyone and that my actions would have no effect on anyone else. They wouldn't have to alter their meal time or their viewing schedule for TV that evening. The only person it would affect was myself. My joy, my fulfilment, my personal choice and desire. A Pokemon Go raid had highlighted my new ability to do absolutely what I wanted to do. I had a moment of guilt as I thought about still having a child at home, but Kenzie is 18. And really, I'm handing over some of the parenting to Lee, which for the past 22 years, I have done 99% of the role. And I see or check in with Kenzie daily, and we have quality time with each other together each week. So that was my revelation, that I've never really been able to do what I want when I want without answering to anybody. Because not long after being old enough to be able to do those things, I was with Lee and pregnant and then a mother. So all of my life, I've had someone else really to think about and someone else to answer to. And it's a really weird feeling because obviously I love Lee to pieces and I adore my boys. Obviously Brendan's moved out, so he's living his life doing as he wants to do, and you know, he has that freedom. I mean, I would imagine he would, if he was going to be particularly late home or not come home, that he would tell my parents because he's living with them. But that's just a courtesy, isn't it? And I don't begrudge that. It's a courtesy. But it's a bit different when it's your partner or your children, you know, and you're the mother or the parent, because you have that role as the parent and you have that responsibility, and you have your partners, you know, you have them to consider in what you choose to do. And I am aware that I'm not seeing an awful lot of Lee at the moment, but when we are together, it's very, very nice. And he messaged me tonight and said, did I want company tomorrow evening? And I said, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. So he's going to come over and spend the evening with me tomorrow. And it's going to be really lovely. So, yeah, I don't feel too guilty about that because I'm out earning money and, you know, I'm building up this business and what have you. And when we do spend time together, it's quality time together. So that feels good. But there is just something about the fact that, you know, like Kenzie doesn't rely on me all the time now for things. He cooks his own meals. As long as there's food in the fridge, you know, as long as I touch base with him. I mean, I pick him up from school several times a week. I chat with him. I've popped back in the middle of the day with the puppies, you know, with the dogs, our dogs, and kind of dropped them off and then stayed and had a cup of tea with him, and you know, all those sorts of things. And we speak every single day and we see each other virtually every day. I see him more than I see Lee. So my parenting role is still very active, and I touch base with him and say, are you okay? Am I away too much? You know, does it bother you? So I'm always touching base with him. But having been his primary caregiver for all these years, even though I know he's now older and more independent, there's still mum guilt. Still mum guilt. But actually, the role that he needs from his adult now, for the most part, is something his dad can cater for quite easily. You know, it's not all of the little bits and bobs like, you know, the school stuff. And I still deal with all of that. But it was different when he was at primary school and he was struggling, and his ASD and his Tourette's and everything else that was giving him literally daily anxiety, stress and grief. I was dealing with every single day. And it was the same with Brendan with his autism. I was dealing with everything day in, day out. And so I have to remind myself that I did 99% of the intense parenting. I was the one, while, you know, Lee kind of chilled and did his thing, which I don't begrudge him at all. You know, like, you know, that was just him. He just, you know, did his gaming or what have you. I was the one that took them to the park, and I was the one that organised fun things to do and play dates and sat downstairs doing science experiments with them and building things and taking them out for walks and, you know, kind of nourishing their entire mind and body, because that was my role. And, you know, I worked in that area, childcare and child development, and so it was very natural for me to devote pretty much every hour of my life to the children. So yeah, it's I think it's just a huge change, and it was just a very sort of a wow moment in my brain when I thought, do you know what, I won't go straight back just now. The dogs are fine. I'm just going to go and do a couple of Pokemon raids. And then I was like, I don't have to tell anyone. I'm just doing this because I want to do it, and I don't have to ring anyone and say I'm going to be late, and I don't have to ring anyone and say, had you got any plans, because I'm actually going to go and do this, or ask, not for permission, but will that affect you and your plans if I do that? So there you go. That was my lightning bolt moment of how my life is changing. Anywho, I am going to say my goodbyes because I'm very hot and sticky and I'm going to need another shower. It's going to be a 30-degree day tomorrow, and I am going to have a little bit of a lay-in, but then I'm meeting an old friend for a cup of tea and possibly a slice of cake in town. So I need some beauty sleep. Thank you very much for watching, you lovely lot, and I'll see you all in the next video.